Welcome back into a live edition of Rebound Off the Net as we enter the 2026 season. I'm your host, Joshua Cox. Over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be previewing all 9 AF1 teams as we gear up for yet another season as we enter year 2 of the AF1. First up, we are previewing the inaugural Arena Crown champion, Albany Firebirds. They are our pick to go back-to-back and sit first in the preseason power rankings. To help us preview the Firebirds, we welcome a man who's won 3 championships in Albany as well as a runner-up finish in 2024. He was the 2025 AF1 Coach of the Year, finishing with an undefeated record. We welcome on one of maybe one of the greatest coaches in arena indoor football world right now, Damon Ware. Coach, always great to talk to you. Ready for another great season?
Yeah, good to see you finally. It's been a long off season. It always seems so far away, and then all of a sudden it seems too close. And so just excited. But anytime I get your interview request, I know we're getting close. So that's awesome.
Absolutely. Coach, I haven't talked to you since the Arena Crown. How did it feel to bring the Arena Crown home, especially after how 2024 ended for you?
Yeah, I mean, I said all along, probably the worst thing that could have happened to the league was us losing the 2024 championship. I went into the offseason with just a vigorous, approach to what I wanted done. I wanted to make sure the vision that I had for this team was met. And we were able to do that. It's always special when you can envision something happening and you can put it together and it comes to fruition. So was real excited about, again, how 2025 went. Going undefeated is just such a hard thing to do. And being able to do that was great. But, that's the funny part about this business is it doesn't even matter anymore. You only have a short time to live and be that undefeated champion. And then you got to start all back over and bring in new people and get your coaching staff back together and make another run. So, as I've told our coaching staff, just the funny part of it is really just, it's time to refocus. It doesn't matter what happened last year. It's just time to go again. And so we're excited though. It's going to be a fun thing.
Absolutely. You got the honor last year of winning AF1 Coach of the Year. What did that mean to you personally?
I mean, it meant a lot. I don't do it for the awards, but these awards can be such a popularity contest, and when you're trying to beat everybody's face in, throughout the season, sometimes people just don't like it, and so you don't get the votes. I honestly, and not to say it in a cocky or wild manner, I think I should have won several of these over the last several years. And like I said, we've just been a tremendous football team for the last 6 years. And so just, and finally get it and have your peers vote you in. It was a special thing. It just one of those things. You don't do it for the awards, but it is nice to be recognized.
Yeah, absolutely. What was your favorite on-field memory last season when you look back?
Just winning it at home in front of our crowd. We have such a rabid fan base, just blue-collar people that absolutely love this football team. And anytime you can celebrate on your field and confetti's dropping and you're walking around with the Arena Crown and just being able to be on the field with all the people that support you and spend their hard-earned money to watch, that's always special. So I always enjoy those final moments with our crowd.
Absolutely. We're going to go to the flip side of that. You all spend a lot of time together outside the field, off the field. You got a funny story or a special memory off the field with that team last year?
I really don't. We came into camp and I made everybody, just in the interview process say they'll give me everything they got for the season. And so we really went at it as hard as a team can go after it. We didn't waste any time. We kept our mind on football. There wasn't a lot of time for hanging out and having fun as far as just, outside of the football realm. And we had fun, obviously, in it. Like I said, I tell my guys all the time, how do you spell fun? It's not F-U-N, it's W-I-N, because that's what it's all about. And so, our kids were so great last year. We brought in a bunch of great character guys, and we really had a very mellow season as far as, just off the field. It was just locked in arms together, breaking bread together as much as we could, and just being just one group. And so, again, it wasn't a lot of wild stories, but just very wholesome year, very peaceful. I think my wife laughed and was like, like you've just been real peaceful this year. And so, winning does that, but it was just a group of guys that came together and believed in the vision that we put forth on day one, and to be able to accomplish everything we wanted to was just a fun time.
Absolutely. Coach, I don't think a lot of people know, but you're a college coach in the offseason. You're offensive coordinator for Hudson Valley Vikings. Tell us a little bit about that and how that season went this offseason for you.
Yeah, when I tell people I'm busy, I really do mean it. It's not, people probably get tired of hearing me say it, but it truly is. I get done with the Firebirds, and usually it's a week or two tops. Some last 2 seasons ago it was I think I had 2 days off before I started. We finished a little earlier this past season, so I had a couple weeks. But to go from one season and all that entails winning a championship, and then a couple weeks later start another training camp and put in 15-hour days. I don't think people respect just it's almost crazy. I'm sure my wife can attest. It's pretty crazy what I do, but I love what I do, and that's what it's all about. I want to pass on as much as I can to as many people as I can. Hudson Valley is just a great school. My youngest son is attending school there, doing his biological sciences degree there as he goes on to medical school. So it's a wonderful school. It's beautiful. It's high tech. It's a gorgeous campus. And again, it was, when I decided to go over there, it was, hey, let's get this thing turned around and let's go win a national championship. And so in 2024, we went 8-2 and barely missed getting into the championship. And last year we went 7-3. We had a little hiccup at the beginning, and then we really, came on late and had a great season. So again, in the last 2 years, being 15-5 there has been special. We really get a lot of really, really good recruits there now that understand what we're trying to build there. And so, I mean, it's a crazy amount of work, but I just love what I do. I just every day is it's not really work. It's just a passion, and I just want to touch as many lives as I can. So I'm having a ball right now. I feel young as ever. I just went to my annual checkup, and everything is perfect. And so again, I'm just enjoying life, and as many people as I can touch, I'm definitely going to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll pause what I got for a minute. Denise asked, was there a team talent show? I'm guessing she's talking about last year.
Talent shows. We every year we make, again, we try to make it as fun as possible. So we'll go to one of our facilities and make everybody that's a first year to the team, participate in the talent show. And it is just a fun time. And again, there's no getting out of it. You just have to do it. And it doesn't matter what you do. We give some guidelines, and just it's always fun though. It's we have some really talented kids. I mean, we've had some singers that it was like, wow. And we've had some comedians that had a good routine. And last year it was fun to our backup quarterback Robert McCoy had a whole little like rap video that he did when he was younger, and he performed it for us, and it was pretty cool. So there's always some really fun stuff that these guys come up with. But every year all of our rookies got to know, hey, that talent show, you have to do it. Doesn't matter how bad you are, you have to do it. But it gives us another time just to bond together and laugh and have a good time together.
Yeah, that's great. That's a lot of fun. So another season here for you in Albany. I know a lot of teams probably around the indoor world reach out to you, try to poach you. What keeps you in Albany?
I just love it here. Since I got here, it's just the people. It's a very blue collar city. It's just so much passion, and it's just it's hard to match that in other places. And not that there's not good fans. There's obviously great fans everywhere, but when I got here, this fan base just embraced me, and I felt the love from the day one of getting here, and really coming with some innovative ways to do things that maybe they hadn't seen in the past. And it's just been a great ride. And so it's our ownership as well. I trust them and they trust me, and that's just hard to get. And, people that call me for jobs, it's just, to go through, what you have to go through as to move teams. It's hard. And people I don't think really understand how tough it is. You leave someplace and you go and get with another ownership group. So that requires a great deal of trust and communication between you, how they run the organization, and how do you fit in that organization? I mean, do you have a lot of say so? Do you not? Is it just you just worry about football? Do you worry about the off field stuff? And so, when I got here and got with our ownership group, it's we all had similar visions. Everybody's successful. Everybody has a really good idea of business. Everybody has a, good idea of what they want football to look like. And, that's just, I think it would be hard to duplicate somewhere else is we've just put together a bunch of passionate people that really believe in each other. And we all work hard and we all want the same things, which is just to be successful on and off the field. And, it would take a lot to get me to leave here. I've joked on my show and, hey, if somebody offers me $1 million, hey, I'm shaking hands and I'm walking out of here. But I said I don't coach with one foot out the door. I get people that ask me all the time about what my next challenge is and all this, and it's I'm older. I don't have one foot out the door. I don't have I need to go do this in my career. I've been able to do a lot of special things. I got to spend some time in the NFL. I've been to Europe. I've been to college. I've been I've been everywhere. So I don't have any, I need to go try this to make myself feel like I accomplished anything. I've had a great career. I've been blessed to do a lot of really good things in my career. And so I love it here. I bought a house here. I just I don't really have any intentions of leaving unless something major comes about or like I said, unless somebody offers me $1 million.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll take a deep dive in the roster here in a few minutes, but what's kind of been your strategy this offseason? I know some teams you said is it coming overpaid some of your players and you've lost some guys. What has been kind of your approach as you went into this offseason?
And like I said, I try not to come off as Are you there?
Yeah, go ahead, Coach. I can hear you now. Sorry.
Are you locked in?
Yeah, can you hear me?
There you go.
Okay.
Kind of locked in a little bit. But yeah, as I was saying, I'm trying not to be cocky or unapproachable about it, but I just really don't feel that there's any 1, 2, 3, 4 players on the roster that I couldn't lose and I could replace. And so it doesn't mean I don't love every single player that comes and plays for me. I absolutely do, but there's reasons for everybody. There's reasons why coaches move on. There's reasons why players move on. There's financial aspects, all those things. And so I'm always ready for that. And so I recruit, 12 months out of the year, every single year. I have just a base and a system that I use that has been very successful for us. So I'm always ready. And we really haven't kept that many players year after year. Usually it's about 8, 9 players that kind of carry over. This year is going to be quite a bit. I think we have 15 players that are returned. That's the most that we've had in the past 6 years. So from that standpoint, it's going to be fun. But again, I just think that just like being at a college, your turnover of your roster is so much. I'm just used to it, and it just doesn't really bother me. And it really does. It's fun for me because I love to teach, and so anytime I can get a handful of new people, I get to start over and reteach from the very beginning, and I love to do that. So like I said, I know everybody's watching our roster. And again, it's not to be cocky or arrogant about it, but I know everyone's watching our roster. I know nobody wants to help us out in helping us win. So people are going to come after our players. They're going to offer them money. They're going to do, and I love that. I love that for our players. If a guy's played for me and he can go on somewhere else and make more money and do whatever, I wish him the best. I'm just not going to wish you the best when you play me, but I wish you the best, and let's just keep this thing moving. And so I love the recruiting process, and that's the one thing that I enjoyed the most of anything. I don't think we talk about it enough, but the recruiting process is what I love the most. And I think that's why we're successful is I have a system that really, really works. And I really spend a great deal of time in finding the players that we want to play here.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's look at the changes kind of around the league this year. I know we lost Salina, Southwest Kansas, and of course Corpus. I know you kind of jokingly said you're not going to miss going to Kansas. And I'm not either. How have you felt about the losses and additions this offseason and kind of what that's looked like for the league?
Again, this is a niche business, and so teams are going to come and go. I mean, that's what you want is your really strong teams. You want your good ownership groups to stick it around as long as they can. And so I think that our base of teams are really, really good. They got really, really good ownership groups. And so as long as those teams stick around, that's the most important part. You're going to lose some, here and there, and that's okay as long as you replace them. I think that our additions were really, really good. We've got, two champions, so that's awesome. Beaumont came as a first-year team and won in another league, won the championship. So adding them is going to be great. I really enjoyed their owner. I think he's going to be great for our league. And Minnesota as well. They're in the same boat. I've spoken with their owner a few times, and just a really good guy, has a good vision, and is willing to do whatever it takes to try to win. And so I look forward to that first game, by the way. But, like I said, so we have a really good group of guys, just leaving our league meetings, just spending time with the girls. We've got some really, really good people. Michigan, another owner that I just, him and I were ribbing back and forth with each other about who's going to win and those kind of things. And I love that. And so we got a lot of passionate people. We've got a lot of good coaches in the league. And so it's going to be a really fun time. You never want to lose anybody. I hope this year that we can retain everybody that's in the league. I think everybody's pretty locked into the future of this league. And so this is going to be a real fun year. It's going to be competitive, a lot of new faces coming in, a lot of talent all over the league. It's going to be a really fun year this year.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of touched on it there. I think Nashville and Kentucky is going to be really good for the league. And then, of course, the Renegades, who's won the championship last year. I felt like after last year, we lost to Orlando at the beginning of the year, and I thought it was pretty evident you all were going to win the championship after that. Do you feel like there's more competition for you out there this year?
Yeah. Obviously, having Kentucky and Nashville with coaches that are been there, done that. I love facing those guys, and I have a high level of respect for them. So Art Bett and Coach Walker are, anytime we get together, we hang out and spend time together, and just a high level of respect for each other. Bringing in, Corey Mayfield, that's with Beaumont, another guy that had a great, tremendous AFL career. Good dude to talk to. Just enjoyed him as getting to know him, and so there's just a lot of good people there. And I think Beaumont again has the type of organization. They've got some really good players there. The talent is just spread out everywhere. I mean, everybody has got some really good players, and I think that's going to be fun. But the top end is pretty heavy. I think there's 4 teams that are really, really good, and not to, again, to talk down on anybody. I think everybody's got good players and good coaches, but I think at the top there's going to be some really good competition, and the playoffs could be really exciting this year.
Absolutely, yeah. And you and Arbet and Cedric Walker, I believe, unless something's changed, are in the same division this year too. So that's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. So. Coach, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, you look at the schedule. No, we kind of talked about it a little bit. You're going to go different places compared to where you've been in the past. You're going to Texas, you're going to Oregon, Washington, Michigan, Kentucky. Is there any places you're looking forward to going to the most?
No, I love seeing new places. I love to travel, and I love what it does to your football team. So being in a city that's just foreign to you, it's just you against the whole town, and we love to go into people's arenas and keep them quiet, and that's that's the fun of it. I like to be more on the road early because I think it helps build some camaraderie with the team. And so last year we kind of kept a similar schedule, which is play a little more on the road and at the early part, and then have a few more home games at the back end, and kind of be able to relax a little bit getting towards the playoffs. And again, obviously this year it worked out this kind of the same way. Is we'll start off at home and play in Minnesota, and then we go on a 3-week road schedule, which is going to be brutal. But I love that because it's all that adversity and all the travel and all those tough moments. I mean, we go we go to Beaumont, another league champion. We go to Washington, to Oregon. That's a lot of travel going from one side of the country to the other. So it's going to test our resolve, and I love that. And so I'm super excited. Our coaches are super excited that we get to go on the road. We get to lock elbow to elbow with our team, get close, get to know each other, because it's just you guys on the road. It's you're all together. You go to a hotel, you eat all your meals together. It's really the most close that you can be. And so I love that early on in the season. So having those 3 road games, going to be really tough to win all those games on the road, but it's that resolve that really kind of gets us going the direction that we really want to go in for late in the season.
You went to the league meetings there a few weeks ago. Tell us about that experience and how you feel about things as we head into 26.
Just great to be around all the owners and all the head coaches and some GMs and things that ones that could make it. Um, just being with the heads, being with our commissioner, being with Jerry Kurz and Jeff Fisher, and all being in the same room and just sharing ideas and making sure that we're all exhibiting the same ideals throughout the league, because that's what makes it important. Is it's being singly in good is not as important as being fully from top to bottom. And so getting around a lot of people, sharing ideas, what things work, just talking, from coaches about things and ownerships and selling tickets and sponsorships and medical. And, you're just sharing all your data and you're sharing, just experiences, because at the end of the day, we're all business partners. We want to be great together. Obviously, on game night, we want to go at each other, but off the field, again, you're only as good as your weakest link, as they say. And so we don't want any weak links this year. We want everybody to be strong on good fitting. We want to help each other out and ultimately have some really good football on the field.
Absolutely. That's the goal. If you would, Coach, introduce us to your 2026 coaching staff.
Kept our same exact coaching staff, which is as rare as possible. So obviously me still head coaching and calling the offense. Coach Brandon Cisse obviously coming back, coming off of being first in defense last year. That was really my vision, all along. And, he did a wonderful job of growing in that position and again, being number one last year, which was super important to me. Arthur Hobbs coming back as our defensive back coach, Jordan Gooch being our running backs coach, Tony Bowick being our offensive line coach. So, and then again, our interns, Brian Lewis and Raymond Ray, they're all coming back, and then our special teams coordinator in Gabe Young. So we brought back every single coach we had last year. So it's the exact same staff. We wanted to run it back together. We wanted to continue to build together. We worked so hard this off season, and that's the thing. And that's really my job, is to help these guys grow. And so, this year we took a very, very slow process. We worked all off season together, had meetings every single week, and just to grow each other, to teach each other things and come up with new ideas and really be locked into the coaching side of it. I'm a firm believer that coaching really does matter. You got to have the Jimmies and the Joes, but if you can't coach them up and you can't put them in the right situations and you can't build the right culture, I just don't think you can be very good in this business. So we spent a long time. I'm just super happy. It's very rare that you keep the same coaching staff from top to bottom 2 years in a row at this level, and we were able to do that. So I'm super excited for all my young coaches as they continue to grow. Everybody on my staff, I think, is going to have a tremendous career going forward, and that's a testament to just how hard we work here.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. Yeah. We're going to dive into kind of some of the positions now. We'll start with quarterback position. Sam Castronova, your MVP, is coming back. You've had him, I think this is his third season since 2022. How have you seen him grow as a quarterback?
I mean, he's just reaching the pinnacle of his career. He's just grown so much from 22 when he came in and we went on a 4-game losing streak and ultimately winning the championship that year, to now he's just reaching the pinnacle of his career. And so where the game has slowed down for him, he understands how to prepare each week. He understands how to be a really good leader for the guys around him. He's just really a phenomenal quarterback. And I hope this is the final year of him playing at this level. I hope that he at least gets one shot to try to prove he could do it outside. The UFL made a lot of changes this year, which kind of prevented him from getting a great opportunity. I hope that this would be his last year and he'll get that opportunity someplace outside to show that he really does belong at a higher level.
Absolutely. Yeah, but it's good news for you because you got him back. So
I love it. So
let's go to wide receiver. You returned Dwayne Brown, Offensive Player of the Year, Isaiah Scott, and some other key guys. Tell us a little about that room, what that looks like, and some of those key guys you're getting to bring back.
Our wide receiver room is special. This is probably the most special. I mean, I probably say this every year, but it just keeps getting better. Bringing back Dwayne Brown was huge. Just a tremendous young man. He still has a higher ceiling, and that's the scary part. Is He came into our system and grew in a system that just was different than what he has been with before. And I told him, again, when we redid his contract this year, he was the most likely to utilize the coaching. And I love that. And for me, it's we spend so much time putting the stuff together for these guys to learn. It is so wonderful when they use the stuff that we're teaching them over and over again on the field. And Dwayne really does. He eats it up. And there's so many times in the game where he's scored, and we run and embrace each other, and we're laughing, and it's like we're talking about the things that we work so hard on, and how they work in a game. And so he just, like I said, just infectious. He wants to work hard, and he just wants to be great. And I just love that about him. And so bringing back Darian Townsend, he is the most special person in the league with the ball in his hands. I don't think there's anybody better. If you put him in space and give him the ball, he's going to make people look really crazy. And so I just love watching what he does. And he's the leader of our room. He's the most seasoned guy, and he really does lead our room very well. He leads every drill. Dwayne will be second, but DT will be first. And so I love it. Him and I have a great relationship. We talk a lot over the off season of just what we're trying to do and accomplish. And so having him back is real special. Both those guys together are just really hard to stop. Getting Isaiah Scott back was phenomenal. He's a gigantic human that just is athletic, and you just don't find somebody like him. It's very rare to find somebody like him. So super glad to get him back, and still has a higher ceiling, and what we can do with him. Bringing in some new kids. Tyrese Chambers from Maryland played at FIU and played at Maryland. He is a phenomenal player too. Really excited to get him in camp and put him through our type of a situation and system. So really excited about him. I think he's got huge upside. I mean, he's been a stud every place he's been, and so looking forward to seeing him in camp. Bringing in Donovan Ali, who's played at Washington State and Colorado State, a big target. He's a 6'5" kid. I think he's got a tremendous upside. Young, again, somebody else that just wants to be coached and wants to be great. And then Alfonso Taylor, another kid but he came from being a defensive back at Arizona State. He transformed himself into a receiver, obviously in the other league. And I took notice. It's a kid that I've watched, across the way for a little bit. And I like kids to really have that 1 year under their belt. And it doesn't really matter what league, as long as it's one of the better leagues, to just get that idea of how it feels to be inside the walls and those kind of things. And then I'll take it from there. And so getting him is going to be special as well. And plus, he could probably start at two different ways, offensively and defensively. So when you piece all of those guys together in one room, it is just going to be, every one of those guys could start. And so it's going to be real fun to watch them compete, watch them grow, watch them go through the little things, the details, and then figure out who we're going to keep. We're going to have to let a couple of them go. And that's, like I said, that's always the crazy part about here is I know everybody will watch our roster. As soon as we cut people, usually they get gobbled up pretty quick. So it's going to be a fun camp, though. And so last year it really came down. We didn't cut very many people because it was such a good camp, and it took us all the way to our final day to really get down to our cuts. And I'd imagine this year is going to be just as hard. And so we'll probably get down to that last day of camp before we get down to our allotted guys. And so, but I'm just really looking forward to it. Offensive line, again, another position that I'm just really, really proud of. We signed back 3 of our young men from last year, and they're all young, and that's the fun part. And Brandon Nicholson, Colby Bird, who was a first-team guy, and Joshua Zacher. So all those guys are coming back, and they all have a high ceiling. They all have got things they've got to work on to get better and get their opportunities to go back outside. And then bringing in Justin Redd, a kid that's played in the CFL and the UFL. I think, played at East Carolina. I think he's going to be phenomenal coming. He's just got a great attitude. He just wants to get better. He just wants to continue to grow. Brought in, a young guy in Alex Westcott, Buffalo State's, again, best lineman they've had over the last several years. Give him an opportunity. A lot of these D3 kids don't really get an opportunity, but he's a fantastic player that played at a D3 level that deserves an opportunity. And so getting all those guys in the room is just going to be, it's going to be really fun. And then obviously bringing Kevin Toot, who won a championship in the other league with Vegas, getting him over. He's a local guy. I didn't really know a lot about him. I didn't know he was from Saratoga. I, obviously watched some games. I watch all the games across the country, and because I'm always recruiting, and just a really good kid. And then I got on one of his social media pages, and there was all these people that we were connected with, and I was like, how is that even possible? And so as I started going through the people, I'm like, that's a lot of New York people on here. And I look up and I'm like, this kid's from Saratoga High School. It's right up the road. And I was like, it's crazy we let this kid get away. And he went to school in Pace, which is right down by New York City, and he's right here. And it was just crazy that I've never really crossed paths with this young man. And so that was a simple one for me. Once, we broke down this film, and once we started talking, he's a great human being. And again, he's a local kid, and we love to have those local people here. And so that was a no-brainer. So, all of our offensive linemen are just tremendous. It's going to be another position that it's going to come down to the wire. We're going to let go of a couple people that are really, really good football players, but that's just business. It's tough. It's hard. And you got to bring everything you got to count.
Absolutely. Yeah. Crazy room. Let's talk about your big weapon, your kicker, Henry Nails, coming back. Broke a lot of records last year. Tell us a little about him.
Yeah, Henry obviously did a great job last year. Like I said, we're looking forward to, getting him healthy and getting him back on the field. But like I said, just a tremendous young man. He's not just a good kicker; he's a really good person as well. Family guy, does all the little things right. He's very, very serious about his approach to the game. He does things very, very professionally, and so enjoyed watching him last year. Again, another person that just kind of you cross paths and you see him across the way, and then you kind of, when things open up for you, like, but when I interviewed him before last season, he just, I'd asked everybody to send me a plan of things just because of how 2024 ended with, a kicker, not being able to perform in the championship game. And so I was like, I want specific details. I want exactly how you're going to keep yourself healthy. I want to know what is your recovery. I want to know what your pitch count is. I want to know every detail. And by far, Henry sent the most professional plan of any. As soon as he sent it to me, I didn't want to read anybody else's. I was like, you're my guy and let's do it. And so it obviously turned out very well.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun to watch last year. Let's go defensive line. Freddie Booth Lloyd, Akeem Smith, to name a few. Tell us a little about what that line is going to look like on the defensive side.
Well, I tell you, we got younger, which we want with some good veteran presence. Kadir Shepard, young man that started at Ole Miss. We're real high on him. Morris Joseph, kid that started at Auburn and Memphis, real high on him. These kids are great. Akeem Smith, all those guys are tremendous offensive linemen. They're all young. They all want to get out of here. And so those are the kids I like. I don't want these kids to be here more than a year or two. I want them to get their opportunities. We obviously brought back Prince Human Mielen. Again, just a tremendous pedigree. One of his brothers just transferred to LSU. His other brother plays for the Carolina Panthers. They all look identical, and it's crazy. It just his ceiling is hugely high. I'm super excited to bring him back as well. We just picked up a new lineman. I'll get him announced and get all this stuff done. So just a tremendous group of people. And then Freddie Booth Lloyd, who I think could be the steal of the steals. We've battled against each other so many years. When I went down to Orlando for that year, him and I got closer, and we always talked about, again, hey, I said, hey, I know Albany's going to work back out. I'm leaving straight from here, going right back to New York, trying to make this thing work. And he was like, one day we just got to be together, you know what I mean, in New York. And so just funny how it worked out this year. He's able to come up. He's just, again, he's been, defensive player of the year. He's been top 3 in sacks over the last couple seasons, did a tremendous job for Orlando. And so getting him up here, he's hungry, he's motivated, he's getting in tremendous shape. I just think that, what he could do in a structured system like ours, sky's the limit. So I'm really looking, our defensive line room is another, it's going to be a phenomenal battle. We're going to let go of some really good kids, and I can't wait to see those guys compete every day as well.
A couple more positions left. We're going to go defensive back. Kyle Chandler, we brought him in late last year. I interviewed him last year. Really good guy. Marcus Smith, Isaiah McFarland. Tell us a little about that defensive backfield.
So yeah, we actually moved on from McFarland,
Okay.
but we got some really good kids. Obviously, Marcus Smith, one of the best safeties in the game. Bringing him back was a no-brainer. He's, the last couple of years, he's just been real loyal. He told me, Coach, I don't want to play for anybody else. If I'm not playing, I'm retiring. And so we want to bring him back as long as we can. As long as he can continue to play at a high level, we'll continue to bring him back. So bringing him back was crucial. Kyle Chandler, bringing him on, just a great young man. Does everything right. Just a tremendous kid, just works out hard, studies hard, is just a tremendous leader on the field. So was real happy to bring him back. We got some really good young kids that are coming in. We got, Angelo Gross from Michigan State. I just think tremendous kid, just so much upside in him, and get him in the right system. We got Jordan, Whitley, who's coming from Virginia Wise, another tall 6'3" kid that can run, that can play man coverage. Just got some tremendous kids in the backfield too. It just, it all starts up front as getting that pass rush, but then, obviously just on the back end of it, just think it's going to be special. And then we picked up another young man, Kai West, out of Minnesota State. He's another bigger. We went bigger this year, bigger, real physical guys. We really want to, play in a real attacking way this year. And so Kai West, another 6'1" guy, tremendous, man coverage guy, really physical. So we're really we're going to play some real tough brand of football this year, and we really got guys that we really thought could do that.
Last position, Coach, the linebacker position. Tell us a little bit about that.
Linebackers, again, bringing back Drew Singleton, kid that's played at Michigan and Rutgers, another tremendous kid that, got his feet wet last year, starting to learn the game, tremendous athlete, tremendous motor. Really excited to see what he's going to do in year number 2. And then brought in Chizzy Umanakwe, kid out of Central Connecticut, just a phenomenal, this kid's I think he's going to be able to get an opportunity to play, outside after this year. And he could be a kid that can play in the NFL. So he works out hard. He's serious about the game. He's just a tremendous young man. I'm super excited to get him, in as well. And then, obviously again, Trayvon Shorts again, who's been here a long time. So we really got a tremendous room of linebackers that we're real excited about. But all these positions, there's just so much talent at each of these positions that camp is going to be so fun. It's going to be such a war. It's going to be tiring, exhausting, having to grade these guys every single day because everything matters. I just love that feeling. And so, this camp is going to be full of surprises. It always is, you always have your idea and who you think might make it, but that's the tremendous power that we have. And I teach our young coaches to have is we have a lot of power in our hands, and it could really, if we don't do our job good enough, we could send some kid home that may never play football again. And so, we grade tremendously hard every single day. We take every little detail into consideration. We talk personnel daily. So it's just a fun, it's such a tiring time. It's 2 weeks where it's just, you're walking tired and it's crazy time, and you're, working 18-hour days, but it's just the funnest time of the year to really see who steps up in camp, who comes in great shape, who comes in with that learning mentality. There're just so many fun things that happen in training camp, and there'll be some young kid that beats out some older kid, and it's just like, and you'll love it. It just, all those storylines going into camp will be really fun. So I'm as always, I'm super pumped up and I'm ready to go.
Absolutely. I got a couple of fan questions that come in. One person wants to know, do you expect any last minute signings before the spring camp?
Like I said, I have one defensive lineman. I've let somebody go and bring in another. Once the league announces it, I'll put them out. So there is some last second changes that we're making that will get announced, I think, tomorrow. So there'll be a couple little minor wrinkles right before camp.
Yeah, one more fan questions. I don't know if you can answer this one, but when will the AF1 announce how fans can watch games if they can't attend in person?
So that was one of the things that was there at the league meetings. I know that everything is put together. The league wants to announce it, so I will not steal any thunder from them. It just, there's a lot of parts that were going into it. So a lot of technical stuff. We're trying to make our broadcast be just phenomenal. And so once everything's announced, everybody's going to be super excited. It's the broadcasts are going to be super, super professional. A lot of cameras, a lot of really upper level broadcasting things that are going to happen. So as soon as they announce that, I know it probably gets tired hearing that we'll announce it soon. It will definitely be announced soon. And just if you can wait it out and just be calm about it, you're really going to like what our broadcasts look like in 2026.
Sounds good. Yeah. Back to a few more questions I had for you real quick. Who's going to be a breakout guy? I see this every year. Who's going to be a breakout guy that we'll know later in the season that Firebirds and AF1 fans don't know now?
I think, and I hate answering this because I don't want to discount anybody else. It's a tough question. My guys know I love all of them equally. But I really think there's a couple people. If I pick one offensively, Tyrese Chambers, I think, can come in and do some really, really special things. So I think he's a young man that's just been bypassed a couple times. He has a chip on his shoulder. He wants to get out and get those life-changing opportunities. And I think he's got the ability to do so. So I'm really looking forward to him in camp. And then, defensively, there's somebody really at every single position that I think could have a breakout. Kadir Shepard, I think, could have a tremendous time with us. I think Chizzy, from the linebacker spot could have a great time with us. I think, Angelo Gross and Kai West could have a great time with us. So there's a lot of kids that I really think that are going to be new faces that our crowd's going to absolutely love. And I know some of these kids are going to compete their way into some jobs, and it's going to be a fun time to watch them do it.
Yeah. You start off the season with Minnesota. Have you looked into them any? I know they're coming from playing a different kind of game. So what do you kind of expect from them?
Yeah, football's a small world. And as you hear some of the stuff that gets talked, I don't know. And maybe I'm getting older, and so I'm just wiser. And I don't know. Maybe I tried to kick in the door when I was younger. But I don't think I tried to kick in the door like some of these younger coaches are trying to do. I think anytime you just walk into a league that's got some really, really good people in it, you should probably put your head down, try to go earn some respect and win some games. But there's been a lot of talk off the field, and the funniest thing is it's a small world, and so I hear a lot of things, and what you're doing is you're motivating somebody that doesn't need any extra motivation. And so just some of the behind the scenes talk and some of the, who thinks they're going to beat us and all this stuff, I just think it's funny. And so I am so pumped up and ready to get these games started. I can't wait for camp to start here, at the end of the week. But this is what I love about football is there's no way to get away from it at this point. So if you're a head coach locked into your seat, you're going to have to show up and play these games. And so to poke the team that again, that deserves a little respect, I just not sure that's a smart thing, but I'm going to just say I can't wait for the first game. It's going to be fun and exciting. And I hope that all that talk comes with some action because we're going to be ready for that first game.
I don't want to be them. You won the Arena Crown last year. I know you kind of was motivated coming off the loss in 24. What motivates you now, and what's it going to take for this team to make it two in a row?
There's just certain little things that happen in the course of your career that just, I motivate myself every year. I find things to motivate myself, but there's just certain things that you want to be known for. I want to walk away from this being known as one of the best that's ever done it. And so we have an opportunity. It's been a long time since we've lost a game. And the last time we lost a game was a championship game of all things. I tell my coaches all the time, you can go down as some serious people if you go undefeated twice in a row. I just think that's insane to even say it, but I challenge us every day is why can't we? We can put in the work. It's going to be harder because everybody's going to give their Super Bowl effort. We're not going to get nobody wants to see us win again and do the same thing. And I get that from fans to probably even the referees. Like, man, we don't want to see these guys do this again. I get it, but that's the fun part is we want it, and you're going to have to stop us. And so we're going to do everything in our power. Our coach is going to do everything in their power. We're going to do everything that's necessary to do to stay on top. And so for us, we're just as motivated as we were going into last year, which sounds crazy. I love this football team. I think we've got a better football team this year than we did last year, which sounds crazy. But I just love our recruiting methods are just getting better and better. We're refining things that we want, things that we're really looking at that are, they're coming to fruition. And so super excited about this football team we're about to put on the field. But for me, going undefeated twice in a row would be a dream come true, because I just don't think that's something, it's just not something that's going to happen often in the history of the game. And so we're motivated to do it. Not that we're taking away from anybody. I love everybody in this league. Tremendous amount of respect for a bunch of the coaches and organizations around there. But, one thing about us is, and I think everybody knows it, playing us, we want to leave some thoughts in your mind when we finish playing you, that you're playing one of the best teams in the country. And so we're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep crawling. We're going to keep working. And we'll see everybody soon.
You kind of played into my last question, Coach. I actually looked it up. It's been 606 days since you all lost a game, July 19th, 2024. When we're doing this season preview in 27, will that be the last you've lost a game?
It's a crazy thing to say, and like I said, I don't want anybody hating us any worse. But I promise, our fan base, at least, who supports us, we're going to do every single thing possible to go undefeated again. And can that happen? Is there times that you lose? I mean, nobody can win forever, but we're going to give you everything that we got. We're going to make sure that you spending your hard-earned money to come see us. We're going to give you the best possible show that we can. And again, if we can stay healthy, because that's another thing. We've been a really healthy football team by design. We do things a certain way that keep us healthy. If we can stay healthy and we can continue to again, put in the work that we have, why can't we go undefeated again? You know what I mean? It's a crazy goal, and we know that. And I'm not saying it's easy, and I'm not, giving anybody any extra bulletin board that we just think we're going to run through the league. We don't think that. We think that we're going to outwork everybody, and we're going to do what we have to do to attempt to do it again. And I feel really good about this football team, really good about our coaching staff. I love this organization. I love this town. I love our fan base. I love every one of our interns works hard. When you come into this organization, it forces you to work hard, because you're around greatness just everywhere. We have tremendous, business owners on top. We have everybody works so hard here. And that's why I just can't see myself walking. It would take a tremendous amount of something to happen for me to walk away from it. So all I can tell you is, man, we're going to give you everything we got. And we hope to hoist another trophy again in 2026.
Do you even remember what it feels like to lose at this point?
I don't want to feel it. I say it all the time in our coaching meeting. It's addicting to have that feeling, to go through a season and not feel the agony of defeat. It's special. And again, it's addicting. And I know how hard I will guide our coaching staff and our players to get there. I just want to do it again. That's all I can say. I just want to do it again.
Absolutely. Coach, I appreciate the time tonight. It's great to talk to you, man.
Sounds good. I appreciate you having me on, and we'll see you again this season.
All right. This has been the Albany Firebirds season preview. We'll be back tomorrow night for the Michigan season preview. Always remember, catch the rebound off the net.